It looks like Guerrilla Games is working on a new CGI trailer for their upcoming project, meaning that it's likely going to be announced in the next couple of months. So let's unpack this news and some other recent rumors in this video, and also touch on that multiplayer game that they seem to be working on, and Death Stranding, that is of course running on the Guerrilla Games engine, and it's coming to PC, so that's very interesting, and there are some Horizon Easter eggs in Death Stranding too. So let's get into it. It would of course be awesome if you could leave a like on the video, as it shows your support. And let's go. Maybe you already read the latest articles on the existence of Horizon Zero Dawn 2. It's of course not a surprise that Guerrilla Games is working on a sequel, and now the latest job listing is not even hiding it anymore, saying that within Guerrilla we have 4 teams dedicated to creating the stunning environments of Horizon. Implying that right now in the studio they have teams like this. Our world-dressing teams can deliver our immersive world with industry benchmark graphics. And every time I go through my more than a terabyte worth of Horizon footage, I'm always impressed by how well this 2017 game looks. So I can't wait to see this game shine on the PlayStation 5 and potentially the PS4 too. And we very likely don't have to wait that long anymore, as indicated by a recent rumor. This all started with a now removed tweet from Darren, a principal animator at Guerrilla Games, saying, "Hello Stockholm, we've come for your mocaps." So I made this screenshot but did not save the other pictures, but what it says is "Goodbye Kansas Studio." So yes, you could think that Guerrilla Games is going there for motion capture for their cutscenes, but Goodbye Kansas is more known for their pretty sick trailers, as pointed out by Games Radar. And actually the most recent one that they did is the Cyberpunk 2077 E3 2019 trailer. You likely already saw that trailer, right? It now has around 20 million views across many channels on YouTube, and way more when you count the other social medias too. They actually released a behind the scenes look at how this trailer was made, and well, seems like Guerrilla Games is now in that same studio working on a trailer for one of their new projects. So then immediately the new Horizon comes to mind, right? Blow everyone away with an amazing looking reveal trailer, although it could be for that other project that Guerrilla Games is working on too. They just posted, I think actually reposted, because I've already seen this one before, but they're actually still looking for a Java developer for a multiplayer focused game, from the looks of it, with many concurrent users, matchmaking, tournaments, clans and leaderboards. And you'll integrate the game servers with PlayStation Network and other third-party services. You need to have an interest in online gaming for this job as well, as the job listing notes. Sounds nothing like the single-player open-world RPG that Horizon 2 will very likely be. They also, of course, I've mentioned it many times before, hired Rainbow Six Siege developers last year and started recruiting people earlier this year, likely for that second team. Anyway, the point is that if they're indeed working on a trailer in Stockholm, then it could very well be for the next Horizon or this multiplayer focused game. I would even argue that if this multiplayer game is a new IP, then revealing it with a CGI trailer makes way more sense than using that for Horizon 2. People already know Horizon, and it will likely look beautiful with the PlayStation 5 graphics. Why do you need a CGI trailer for that? While if you have a new IP, then a cinematic trailer can really help establish the world. Or even if it is for a franchise that has been dormant for some time. There are some rumors going around about what this multiplayer game might be and when it will launch. Ex-IGNer and kinda funny co-founder Colin Moriarty says on his PlayStation podcast Sacred Symbols that he heard that the game is a third-person game, just like Horizon, and then later he speculated about this being a new SOCOM game. We also got Tyler Fisher on comicbook.com sharing that he heard that Guerrilla Games will have a title ready for the launch of the PlayStation 5, but that it won't be the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, though this is being worked on. No real surprise, of course, there. Rather, it will be the studio's multiplayer game. And then he continues, I've heard some people throw Killzone around, but from what I have heard, I believe this will be the return of SOCOM. I mean, that is indeed third person and also really tactical, so in line with the experience that the Rainbow Six developers of course have. Simon LaRouche, who is potentially the game director on this multiplayer game, started working on it in February 2018, so it would be more than 2.5 years if they want to release it around the launch of the PlayStation 5 in the holiday of 2020. Seems very ambitious, especially since their big push for new people seemingly started around April 2019. I think this project is still early, but on the other hand, Guerrilla Games' PS4 launch game Killzone Shadowfall also launched after 2.5 years of development, and I think that this new multiplayer game won't even have a single player component. I thought it was interesting to go a little more in depth on the rumors about this second game, because again, the potential trailer could really be for both titles if you think about it. Either way, if Sony will follow the same strategy as they had for the PS4, and why would you change a winning team, then we will see the reveal of the PlayStation 5 in February 2020. Makes a ton of sense to jump in the studio now to have a trailer ready for that event. So I was curious how long it took for them to work on the Cyberpunk 2077 E3 trailer, because then we could kind of piece it together and see when they worked on it and when they released it. I listened to a podcast called Yellow Brick Road with some creators, and the only thing they noted is that they did not have a lot of time to make the trailer. So it really sounds like a few months max. So if Guerrilla Games is starting right now in October, then that would totally line up with a potential PlayStation 5 reveal in February 2020. It's just very exciting knowing that Guerrilla Games will finally unveil what they've been working on for the last couple of years. Almost 3 years now since Horizon Zero Dawn. Likely 3 years when they will finally unveil the next game. Darren has experience with motion capture direction for both story-oriented shoots and stunts. So this trailer could really be for anything, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. While going through the job listings on the Guerrilla Games website, I also found this senior game programmer, and there we learned that the game will actually feature multiple melee weapons, saying you will technically design, implant and optimize a wide range of in-game features such as ranged and melee weapons. I mean, it makes sense that they would improve upon the melee combat instead of the two basic hits that we had with the spear and of course the attack from above that you could do. This senior game programmer will also work on the combat and traversal mechanics, and still fingers crossed for flying mounts in this one. I mean, a CGI trailer where Aloy jumps off a mountain after fighting a new machine and then the Stormbird catches her. Still something that I would love to see, and that would also truly show off the power of the PlayStation 5 if you could like fly across this huge map that it like renders extremely fast. But I would not mind having the next Horizon on the PS4 too. It's a very long-standing prediction of mine that we actually see the game release on both systems. In short, the PS4 has now sold more than 100 million units, so you're missing that install base if you're going for a PS5 exclusivity, because that install base will be almost non-existent. Sony says they want to support the PS4 for at least a year and a half after the PS5's launch, so maybe with new games. They want to grow the Horizon franchise and maybe turn it into a movie. Like, key members of the studio went to Sony Pictures earlier this year, likely to talk about the potential of Horizon Zero Dawn on the big screen. Spoilers, there is a ton of potential there. So then you want to have a lot of people play the game, right? Instead of like stranding it on this new console. And Microsoft will be doing that as well with their launch games. Like Halo will be releasing on the Xbox One as well. And again, look at Horizon and now Death Stranding that is running on the same engine. I really see no good reason to have it be a PlayStation 5 exclusive when it will still look and play fine on the PS4 too. And then the PlayStation 5 version can still be the best version without any load times and maybe with a faster mount because the world can render faster. Also interesting regarding Death Stranding is that 70 Guerrilla developers worked on this game. Like, apart from helping Kojima and his team with the engine, they even worked on the environment, the art, animation, visual effects, the cinematics. and even more. And those cinematics are the best part of Death Stranding, so it would be awesome if Guerrilla Games learned from Kojima Productions and used the knowledge for the cutscenes in Horizon 2. You would think that that is the case, right? Also interesting is that Death Stranding is coming to PC in the summer of 2020, meaning that the engine from Guerrilla Games that is used to make PlayStation exclusives will work on the PC too. Maybe this means that that multiplayer game from Guerrilla Games will also be coming to the PC, because Sony already said that they want some games to live on other platforms too, and it really makes sense for an online game that of course needs to have a big community. I think Horizon will stay on the PlayStation though, because that's of course a real system seller, so releasing that on the PC, don't really see why they would do that. Death Stranding is kinda different because it's not a first party game, like Sony does not own Kojima Productions. There are some Horizon Easter eggs though in Death Stranding, so if you're then playing on PC, I would imagine that you still see those things too. Herman Hulst, like the managing director at Guerrilla Games, is someone you can meet. And I highlighted another Easter egg in my Death Stranding review that you can watch by clicking on the screen, or I will link to it at the end of this video. So yeah, some nice little things to hold us over until we finally get the next game. So when will we see it? February 2020 makes ton of sense, or maybe they want to wait until the big first half of 2020 games are out, like Cyberpunk, Avengers, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Dying Light 2, and also the recently delayed The Last of Us Part 2, now releasing in May. The original The Last of Us released after the PS4 was announced, and that did not matter at all. People were still very excited. So I think that history will repeat itself, that we will see the PlayStation 5 and some of the games before The Last of Us Part 2 is out. Bring it on. I'm curious to hear when you think this game will release. Will it be a PS5 launch title? Will we see it in the early part of 2021? Because we also still have Ghost of Tsushima that has been delayed till the second half of 2020. So if you then have Horizon as a launch game in the fall, then you have like 2 or 3 months in between them. Maybe that's a little bit too close, like two big exclusive overworld RPGs close to each other cannot be good. So yes, let me know when you think the game will release and when it will be announced in the comments down below. Put down a date, so then when it gets announced I can go back to the comments and see who was the closest. Subscribe for everything Horizon Zero Dawn 2, like the video to support the channel, and totally check out my previous video on the PlayStation 5 that is at this point already a must buy, thanks to the promise of amazing games. I will run down those amazing games in that video. For now, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.